dinner tonight we're having noodle soup. It's just with loads of leftovers that I've got from last week. We've got this purple sprouting broccoli leftover. The stalks on this were actually really thick, so I'm probably going to only use the later half of it. I've got a stick of celery. I've got all these carrots and courgettes which were left from that recipe box that we tried last week, and they've got a dressing on them, so that should give the soup a nice flavour. And then also from the recipe box I've got these green beans left. I'm just going to dice everything up a bit smaller and throw it in this chicken stock which I've just defrosted. I had it in the freezer. I've chopped up all of the vegetables. The carrots I've done smaller than everything else because they were still quite firm. And I've also skimmed quite a bit of the fat out of the chicken stock because it was looking quite fatty. I've also put in some chili flakes and smoked paprika. And then these rice noodles I'm just going to pop in a couple of minutes before it's ready because they're so fine they don't take long at all. And this is the soup that we're having tonight. Tonight for dinner we're having pizza, which is fig and goat cheese. That's my favourite. Trevor has made the pizza dough. It's risen nicely. This is enough dough for 3 pizzas, so we usually eat 1.5 or 2 and put the rest in the freezer. So we're having a few sweet potato wedges with this, and we've pre-baked those bases and we're just going to top them.
And here are the pizzas. They've just been topped and ready to go in the oven. My name is Laura.
And here is dinner all ready to go. So we've got the fig and goat cheese pizzas, and there's a few sweet potato fries, and also the salad which is rocket and capers. Tonight for dinner we're having chilli. I've actually just taken this out of the freezer. It was in a freezer bag. So it's a big lump which I'm going to defrost and heat through. And then I'm just going to slice up these wraps and do them kind of grilled or toasted on the top. And this is the chilli we're having tonight. For tea we're having these baguettes with mushrooms and garlic and spinach and cheese in them. Trevor has made them this afternoon and they've just come out of the oven. And I think I might have to eat some now because there's no way I can wait till he gets in later. I'm ready to start cooking now, so I'm chopping up mushrooms. This is actually only half of the mushrooms, and I've also got half a leek. It always looks like a lot of mushrooms when they first go into the pan, but they really reduce to nothing. They're mostly water. I've added the leeks and the garlic into the mushrooms now, and as you can see they've really reduced down. And I've added cream and blue Stilton, which I'm just going to let melt down. And then in the plates, which are kind of these bowls with a little lip on them, I've got the baguettes, which I've covered with spinach. And then I've topped that with the mushrooms that's in the cheese sauce with the garlic and the leeks. Tonight for dinner I'm doing pork loin, and with it I'm doing mashed potato. The mashed potato's got parsnips mashed into it. I'm actually doing all of this stuff, even though it's quite a lot. It freezes really well and it means I only have to mash once. In this oven dish I've just got the sprouts. These are frozen sprouts. The packet was much smaller than I expected and the sprouts are tiny, so I froze them just to increase the cooking time of them. And I've got 1/3 of the pork loin and a red onion which I've just diced into 8, and I'm going to roast that with a little bit of salt and pepper over the top. And then I've portioned up the other 2 pieces of pork loin, and we can have a similar dish to this again and pop it all into the freezer. Even though I froze the sprouts, they are still finished already, and I would really like the pork loin to go for a bit longer, so I've cut a couple of slits in it to help it cook a bit faster. But I'm going to set these sprouts aside because I don't want them to burn, and I'll probably pop this back in for 10 more minutes. I've mashed the parsnips and potatoes together. They're going to be really good. As I said, there's loads there, so I'm going to freeze most of it. Everything is ready now, so I'm just deglazing this pan that I had the sprouts and the onions and the meat in. I'm going to mix it with some Bisto to make a gravy. And this is dinner ready to go. So we've got a couple of pieces of the pork loin, roast sprouts, roast onions, and parsnip and potato mash, and then some gravy. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.